Welcome back to another episode of HV the Life Coach. I'm your host, Emmanuel. This is a platform where we help inspire young men to go from victim me to victory, let go of their limiting beliefs and go from where they can be to where they want to be, and they reach their fullest potential using personal development techniques. Okay? This episode is going to be geared towards reflection, healing, and growth. I got a couple questions. How did I start reflecting? That's question number one. Question number two, when did I begin practicing reflection, healing, and growth? Question number three, how is reflection connected to healing? Question number four, should everyone heal? Can everyone heal? And what's the proof? And then question number five, last but not least, what are the first steps to growth after healing? All right, how did I learn to start reflecting? That's question number one, right? So I started journaling. I started reading certain books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I started reading the book The Alchemist, and I started realizing, there's a journey in life. It's gonna take time. It's not gonna happen overnight, but I really can take charge of my life and start changing things differently. I also started realizing that I can really care for myself by being immersed in this moment, right? How do I do that? So I started doing things like going within myself. That's number one. That's the number one thing that's the most important thing. Because through journaling, through reading, I started connecting certain pieces to the puzzle that allowed me to see the big picture. And I didn't do that intentionally. I just did that over time, and I found out how to do that looking back at it, right? And so that's part of reflecting, looking back at your past. But in order to do that, you have to go within yourself and ask yourself certain questions. And you may not want to do that, right? So question number two was, when did I intentionally start practicing this? To be honest with you, for the past 5 years, I've been working on building myself through personal development techniques, but I didn't really start practicing how to go within myself until like a year and a half ago. And that's when I realized, every single thing we have a question to, we can find within us. Now let me backtrack that, because you're not going to find the answers to 128 divided by 2 without having to go to school, right? I'm talking about like things that are fulfilling your purpose, fulfilling your drive, fulfilling your gift, right? Spiritual questions that you don't have answered yet. You can do that by going within yourself. Questions that you have to understand about you need to go within, okay? Questions that you need to ask about how to heal, how to grow, what your purpose is in life, what you want to do, what your goals are, what your beliefs are. All those things are channeled from within. And until you go inside of yourself, you're never going to find those answers. Someone could tell you this, someone could tell you that, but it's not going to be true for you until you identify and connect with yourself, okay? How often do I practice this? Honestly, every single day. As soon as I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I try to connect with myself. Before I do anything for my wife, before anything for my daughter, I try to connect with me, right? Because I can't pour from an empty cup. I have to fill my cup up, right? Fill it up and make it abundant as much as possible in order for me to do things for others. So if I want to pour in other person's cup and still have something to drink after, I need to fill my cup, and I need to drink from it first. See, that's the problem. Sometimes we try to be selfless and end up having nothing for ourselves. But in order for us to be selfless to the most efficient way possible, we first have to be selfish and take care of ourselves, take care of our needs. They say the same thing on an airplane, right? You're on an airplane, that something happens to the plane, the first thing you need to do is put an oxygen mask upon your own face before you go and save someone else's. Unless you want to die, God forbid, right? Unless you want to die and trying to save someone else, you need to take care of you and then take care of someone else. So first thing I do is take care of myself first thing in the morning. When I come home from work, I make sure that I give myself space in order to clear my head, clear my mind, clear my heart. I make sure that I take care of myself in that regard because I want to know that my wife and daughter are taken care of in the best efficient way possible through my actions, my tone, my mindset. And I can't do this if I'm not at 100%. So I got to make sure I'm good too, right? So I try to make sure that my energy, my internal state, my mindset, my emotions are always good at 100% before I start pouring into other people. So question number three is, how is reflection connected to healing? Honestly, if you think about this, you have fears, right? And some of these fears are yourself. You're afraid to challenge yourself. You're afraid to see certain things within yourself. You're afraid to ask yourself certain questions because you're afraid of what the answer might be. You're afraid to see what the potential could be. You're afraid of what really is. And that's okay, because facing our fears helps us grow, helps us conquer our innermost shadows. And for us to heal, for us to truly be our best self, we have to take the good and the bad. We can't just, oh, I'm gonna focus on the good or I'm gonna focus on the bad. No, we have to have all of it in conjunction with each other. The yin and the yang, okay? The bad and the good, the above and the below, the within and the without. We can't just have one piece of the pie. We need to have the whole thing in order to see the full picture, right? So in order for us to see clearly who we are and where we want to be and where we come from, we need to make sure that we're actually doing the things necessary, challenging ourselves, invoking the things that we may not want to invoke within us, okay? So there's a thing called shadow work, where you ask yourself and you talk to yourself and you do the inner work of how to see the trauma and heal from it. You have to literally do the shadow work. It's dark, it's scary, but it's necessary. And it's not going to be scary once you're done, right? Say if I'm complacent, I'm stuck and I'm comfortable in life, I'm never going to transfer into another dimension. I'm never going to transfer into a new circumstance. I'm never going to be in a new place in life. I'm always going to be in a place where I'm comfortable, and I'm never going to be able to stretch beyond that dimension. I'm not going to be able to grow. I'm not going to be able to do the things I need to do because I'm still here in this comfort zone. You play sports. If you play sports, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your coach will always tell you this. Get out the comfort zone. Get out your comfort zone. Okay? We here to win. And the only way to win is to be better than you were yesterday. And the only way to be better than you were yesterday is to go harder today than you did yesterday, right? So you have to get out your comfort zone. You have to be able to face your fears, conquer them. Facing your fears and conquering them rather than regulating them will allow you to will stretch your mind beyond its normal dimensions. And once your mind is stretched beyond its dimensions, it will never go back to its old dimensions. You get what I'm saying? So in order for us to grow, we have to stretch our mind, stretch our emotions, and then change our actions, okay? Nothing in life is going to change unless we change. You feel me? Question number 4. Should everyone heal? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, they should heal, but they have to be willing and able to do so. Not everyone's willing. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Some people say, well, unless you make him drown, but that's not okay, because then that's not helping them. You get what I'm saying? You can try to make a horse to drink, but what happens? It's going to drown. If it doesn't want to drink, it's going to drown. So you're actually doing more harm than good. You can't make someone do something they don't want to do. Yes, they can. You can ask them to do it. You can push them to do it, but that's not helpful if they don't want it, if they're not ready for it, if they're not at that level where they're going to want to do the things that you're asking them to do, or the things they even want to do. They may want to do it, but not be ready for it. Does that make sense? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. But until you understand that every single person has to be willing and able to do the things that they need to do in order to change their life, nothing's going to change. That's it. Can everyone heal? Absolutely. You ever heard of the placebo effect? It was a study done with psychologists, right? Group A and Group B. Group A was given the right actual medicine that they needed to heal, and Group B was given sugar pills. Surprising enough, people that were given the sugar pills still healed from the things that they were suffering from, which is crazy to think that their mind made them, they believed that the pills were working, and therefore they actually worked. So it just proves a different study in science that your mind is so powerful, it can actually heal you even though you don't have the proper medication. Because literally, we're beings of thought, we're beings of emotion, we're beings of manifestation. What you think, you become. What you feel, you magnetize and attract it to your life. Put those two together and you are electromagnetic, baby. Okay? So you can literally charge the magnetism in your life to grow towards you. And you do this by going within yourself. Question number 5 was, what are the steps to growth after healing? To be honest with you, let's think about it. Is there ever a time when you stop healing? No. No, there's not. I think that you always have to work towards healing because there's always a new stage and a new endeavor, and you have to challenge your old dimensions and your past beliefs and your past self in order to remember who you are today. Now, can you get rid of certain things and stop worrying about them as much and then they become your subconscious part? They become a part of your subconscious more so than your conscious area? Absolutely, right? So some things aren't going to be as active in your mind or your heart to work on, and they're going to be a lot easier to deal with and process than other things. The longer something has stayed with you, the harder it is going to be to break that habit, that emotion, or that thought, or that belief, right? But the shorter amount of time it's been with you, the easier it is to break it. So you have to be disciplined enough and consistent enough in order to build a new habit, a new belief, a new system that's going to actually work for you. And the issue is, we are creatures of habit, and it's hard for us to break old beliefs, old paradigms, old ways of thinking, old ways of feeling, old ways of doing. So in order for us to change our life, we have to actually be disciplined and consistent enough, which is not very easy. But once we get past that stage, Habits are essential for life, right? We are creatures of habit. So we're going to continue to do that regardless. Once we break through that barrier and it becomes a habit. The first thing I said that I did was I went within myself. There's a spiritual guru out there named Deepak Chopra. So I'm going to read Deepak Chopra's statement on how he responded to Mary about how to go inside yourself, okay? Bear with me now. Dear Mary, thank you for an invaluable question. When you know exactly what it means to go inside, many riddles about personal growth begin to clear up. Actually, everyone is already going inside. If someone asks you how you feel or what you think, or if you remember to lock the back door, you automatically go inside for the answer. Your attention is no longer on the outside world, but on the inside world, okay? So what do you do? What do you find when you go inside? A rich world, streaming with thoughts, feelings, sensations, memories, hopes, wishes, dreams, and fears. No one is immune to the allure of this world. We experience ourselves in here and everything we could possibly imagine. But for every experience that's pleasurable, there's also another one called pain. Here is the starting point of spiritual growth. Because human beings, seeing that their pain was centered inside, through painful thoughts, memories, foreboding, and guilt, wanted a way out. Is it possible to go inside and not experience pain? Even when you feel happy and your day is going well, the shadow of the bad things to come cannot be denied. So the level of thinking isn't where the cure for pain exists. No one can control painful thoughts. Therefore, all great spiritual guides have taught that there is another level of the mind where silence dominates. If you can experience this silence, your mind begins to shift. Instead of being dominated by fear, guilt, and other forms of inner pain, it is dominated by a quiet, steady state. From this state blossoms a sense of well-being and a feeling that you are safe. If you remain on the path and keep experiencing inner silence, peace dawns and then joy and bliss. This is the unfoldment of our true self. It is the whole meaning of going inside. Love, Deepak. Essentially, what he's saying is that there is a level of thinking and believing and feeling that has fear, has pain, has suffering, but also has happiness, has joy, has thoughts, right? But there's a level deeper than that, beyond all that noise, where we can have pure silence, pure bliss, pure calmness. We don't have to worry about what other people are thinking, feeling, saying, doing. And we don't have to worry about what we're thinking, feeling, doing, saying, or doing. We could just be. Isn't that beautiful? You can literally transform your entire life by going inside of yourself, okay? Start with reflection, have healing, and have growth through those three things: fasting, meditating, and exercise. Thank you for tuning in today.